Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. A love story that never quite disappeared. For years, Jana Duggar, the eldest daughter of the Duggar family and longtime fan favorite of 19 kids and counting on, has carried an air of mystery around her personal life. Viewers have watched her siblings marry one by one, some in rapid succession, while Jana remained the steady, soft-spoken, and fiercely private older sister who seemed content in her quiet world of gardening, home design, and serving her community. But beneath that serene exterior was a woman whose heart, like anyone's, had known its share of longing, hope, and unanswered questions. And one of those questions centered on Stephen Wissmann, a pilot, musician, and member of a well-known, equally large Nebraska family. Rumors of a romance between the two had swirled for years, two families with shared values, two individuals with gentle personalities, and a connection that seemed to spark long before the public caught wind of it. But the relationship, whatever it truly was, had flickered briefly, faded away, and then, quietly, unexpectedly, rekindled. Now, for the first time, Jana Duggar finally reveals when she and Stephen Wissmann found their way back to one another, and the journey that brought them there is one filled with surprises, heartache, and hope. The first spark. Though fans only learned of their connection in 2021, Jana and Stephen's story began earlier, years earlier, in fact. Their families were acquaintances through Christian gatherings, mutual friends, and the tight-knit network of homeschooling conventions the Duggars often attended. Jana remembered a moment, fleeting yet meaningful, when she first really noticed him. It was at a winter music event where Stephen was performing with his siblings. His calm focus at the piano, his easy laughter with friends afterward, the way he stopped to carry an elderly woman's bags without being asked, it left an impression she tried, unsuccessfully, to ignore. Stephen, as she later learned, noticed her too. Still, both carried responsibilities at home, and both had learned to be cautious with their hearts. Nothing happened beyond warm conversations and friendly hellos. At least not for a while. But sometimes the seeds of something deeper lie dormant, waiting. The brief romance that almost was. It wasn't until early 2021 that rumors exploded online. Fans spotted Jana and Stephen together at weddings, family gatherings, and even on a trip to Florida. Photos leaked, grainy, distant, but enough to fuel speculation. Jana holding a baby next to Stephen, Jana sitting near him at an outdoor event, Jana riding in a car with several members of the Wissmann family. For a public that had waited years to see Jana find love, this was enough to ignite a firestorm of excitement. Behind the scenes, though, things were more delicate. Jana and Stephen were talking, really talking, for the first time. They had long phone conversations, shared their hopes for the future, and learned that their personalities meshed in quiet, uncomplicated ways. They were both introverted, thoughtful, and respectful of family bonds. Neither liked drama. Neither wanted a relationship defined by public scrutiny. And yet, that scrutiny hovered like a storm cloud. Despite the growing connection between them, decisions had to be made, hard ones. Both families had been through enough public attention to know the cost of premature assumptions. By late summer of that year, the romance, still so new, still so fragile, slipped away quietly. The timing was wrong. The pressure was immense. And both walked away feeling they had done the right thing. Even if it hurt. For Jana, it left a hollow ache she tried to fill with gardening projects and interior design consultations. For Stephen, it meant long flights in his plane, sometimes just to clear his mind above the rolling Nebraska plains. But feelings don't vanish simply because a relationship ends. A year of silence. The period after their brief romance was one of silence, outwardly at least. The Duggar family faced public controversy and personal challenges, and Jana, often the emotional anchor for her siblings, took on even more responsibility than before. She supported her sisters, helped with newborn nieces and nephews, and stepped into the role of peacemaker when family tensions rose. Steven, meanwhile, poured himself into work, long hours of flying, music gigs with his family, volunteer projects, and mission trips. For a man who rarely showed emotion publicly, those close to him noticed the change. A little quieter, a little more withdrawn, as if he were waiting for something he couldn't name. During this time, rumors died down. Fans moved on. And Jana convinced herself that whatever had almost happened was tucked away forever. But life, as it often does, had other plans. The moment everything changed. Jana reveals now that everything shifted unexpectedly during a spring wedding in 2023. Both families had been invited, though neither knew the other would be there. Jana remembered walking into the venue, a warm rustic barn decorated with hanging lights and wildflowers, and seeing Steven across the room. He was laughing with friends, the sound she once knew so well. For a moment, she froze. Steven saw her too, and something in his expression, surprise, warmth, hesitation, and something deeper, made her breath catch. They kept their distance at first, exchanging only a brief greeting. But as the evening unfolded, circumstance kept nudging them together. A shared table during dinner, a mutual friend asking them both to help move chairs off the dance floor, a moment outside where they both stepped away to catch fresh air and accidentally ended up standing only a few feet apart. That was when it happened, the conversation that changed everything. "Hi," he had said simply. "Hi," she replied. Then, without warning, everything poured out. They talked about the months apart, about life, about family difficulties and unexpected lessons. They spoke with honesty they hadn't had before, how they regretted letting fear, not lack of feelings, drive them apart, how the silence had been harder than either expected, how they had each quietly hoped for another chance someday. That night, under the twinkling lights of the venue's outdoor pathway, something old sparked again, softly but unmistakably. And that, Jana now reveals, was when everything changed, rekindling the flame. After the wedding, Jana and Steven didn't jump immediately into a relationship. They approached cautiously, much early, knowing how precious and rare second chances are. Their renewed connection unfolded quietly. Long evening phone calls, often lasting until one of them reluctantly admitted exhaustion. Thoughtful messages, filled with encouragement, scripture, and gentle humor. Carefully planned visits, allowing them time to talk without the frenzy of public speculation. Honest conversations about the future, something they had both been afraid to approach before. Jana said something in one of those early conversations that stuck with him. "I don't want us to be rushed by expectations or held back by fear. If we're doing this again, I want us to do it right." Steven agreed wholeheartedly. They approached this rekindled romance like two people who understood the value of patience. They set boundaries for privacy, choosing to let only their closest family members in on the secret. Even among siblings, whispers began circulating. "Jana's been smiling more lately. Steven's been visiting Arkansas again." But the two kept their renewed relationship mostly under wraps. For once, it felt like their love story belonged entirely to them. Healing from what almost was. Second chances often require healing from past doubts, from old miscommunications, from the fear of repeating past mistakes. For Jana, this meant overcoming the deep-rooted belief that if something didn't work the first time, maybe it wasn't meant to be. She had always been cautious with her heart, and letting those walls down again took courage. For Steven, it meant addressing the hesitation that had driven him away before. He had been afraid of entering a relationship under the microscope of intense public interest, afraid of disappointing Jana, afraid of not being enough. But as they spent time together, both began to realize something profound. They had grown. They had matured. And the timing was finally right. Their renewed connection wasn't based on the fragile hope of their earlier romance. It was rooted in something deeper, respect, understanding, and the clarity that comes with time. The official reunion. So when, exactly, did Jana Duggar and Steven Wissmann officially get back together? Jana reveals the date with a shy but steady smile. August 14, 2023. This was the day they sat down on a quiet bench in a botanical garden, Jana's favorite place, and finally admitted that this was no longer talking or hopeful reconnecting. It was real. It was official. We both knew it before we said it, Jana shared. But speaking the words made it feel like everything had finally fallen into place. Stephen had brought her a single white rose that day, not a bouquet, not a grand gesture, just something simple. Something that spoke of sincerity more than spectacle. It felt like a beginning, Jana said softly. The right beginning. What their families thought. Both families reacted with warm enthusiasm, though perhaps not surprise. By the time Jana and Stephen confirmed their rekindled relationship, the Duggar and Wissmann families had seen enough small clues to piece things together. Michelle Duggar, ever gentle, reportedly hugged Jana and said she had been praying quietly for clarity and peace in her daughter's life. Some of Jana's siblings, especially Jinger, Joy, Anna, and Jessa, were over the moon, according to Jana. Her brothers teased her lovingly, relieved to see their sister glowing with newfound happiness. The Wissmann family welcomed Jana just as warmly. Having known her for years, they respected her character, her independence, and her devotion to her family. This time, the relationship felt grounded, not just in romance, but in the support of two families who genuinely cared. Life after reconciliation. Since rekindling their romance, Jana and Stephen have kept things intentionally private. Their days aren't filled with dramatic declarations or whirlwind adventures. Instead, they focus on the small, steady rhythms that build a lasting relationship. Weekend visits between Arkansas and Nebraska, shared volunteer projects, quiet walks, conversations about future goals, reading together, laughing about old memories, learning how to support each other through challenges. It is a love story built not on spectacle, but on substance. Jana notes that one of the greatest comforts of their renewed relationship is how easy it feels now, how natural, how unforced. I think we are both grateful, she said. Grateful for the time apart, even though it was painful. Grateful we had space to grow. And grateful we didn't give up on something that deserved another chance. The question on everyone's mind, are Jana and Stephen talking about marriage? The public has asked for years, often with impatience, sometimes with cruelty. Jana responds with grace. We are focused on building something healthy and strong. Whatever the future holds, we're thankful for what we have now. Stephen adds with quiet sincerity. We're taking one step at a time. But yes, our future is something we talk about with hope. More than that, neither is willing to say publicly. For now, the beauty of their story lies not in an engagement announcement, but in the simple truth that sometimes love returns, stronger, wiser, and more ready than before. A love that came back home. Jana Duggar has always walked a unique path. She waited longer than her siblings to fall in love. She faced public scrutiny with remarkable strength. And she learned, perhaps more deeply than anyone realized, that timing is everything when it comes to matters of the heart. Now, after years of whispers, rumors, and unanswered questions, Jana reveals the truth. She and Stephen Wissmann found their way back to each other on August 14, 2023, after a period of growth, reflection, and quiet hope. Their story isn't one of fairy tale perfection. It's one of patience, resilience, and the courage to try again. And sometimes that is the most beautiful love story of all.